Hey guys, it's Kendrick.
And Dale, what's up?
We just wanted to do an intro video for our YouTube account, Providence Tarot, which is also our Instagram account and a Facebook account. So, we just wanted to talk about how we started this, where we come from, how we even know each other.
Get to know you, you get to know us.
Yeah, so I'll start first. I was originally born in Mississippi, but then I moved to Atlanta, so I'm a Southern boy. And I moved to New York in 2002. I met Dale in 2007 through friends from college. And ever since 2007, end of July, it was Pride weekend, by the way, that's when we met.
Yeah. Very coincidentally, we're both dancers.
Yes.
Professional dancers, classically trained dancers. You know, we went to school. I went to University of North Carolina School of the Arts, and Kendrick went to Juilliard. I have been doing this type of thing for quite some time. A little bit of my background. I come from a very spiritual family. Christian background originally, just very deeply biblical, holiness, kind of Kojic, if you guys know that, Church of God in Christ.
Yes.
My grandfather was like the pastor of a church, you know, so I know all about the discipline of like going to church and praying and being on the schedule and being in the choir and like doing all these things, and I am very connected to the spiritual realm because of those types of roots, definitely. And also just my bloodline in general, the two different types of Native American, African Creole, there's a lot of stuff going on in there. So that's just a consensus of my basis. I was born in Canton, Ohio, of all places, right? Ohio, it's the 17th state.
17?
Yes, 17, which is also my favorite number. Which is also like the star card. I'm a Leo, and my midhaven is an Aquarius, and so are my 10th and 11th house. So it's all very significant in that way if you guys follow along with that type of stuff natally.
Yeah. I'm a Libra. We both have Cancer moons, and I'm also a Libra rising.
And I'm a Gemini rising. So there's the air there. So we want to talk. We want to let you know what's going on with us. I want to connect with you and talk about my experience. And you guys can comment. Tell us about your experiences. He's going to weigh it out. I'm a Leo. And, so
action.
The lion is there. I'm going to give you the drama and the beauty and all that stuff. I want to give it to you. The sun is shining right here. 0 to 3 degrees, July 26th. So right out of Cancer into Leo, and I have a Cancer moon. So there's a lot of that going inward and that empathy. And I'm a natural empath. Mm-hmm. So I use the tarot to help guide me with that. And to help control it a lot of the times, even though there's really not about control, it's about allowing, mm-hmm. But that's my Mars and Saturn and Scorpio talking.
So I also come from a religious family from the South, and I moved to Atlanta, and then I came to New York, met Dale. Tarot was never really anything that I ever had experienced until maybe after knowing Dale, maybe 2 years, a year and a half. We were roommates at the time.
Maybe even longer.
And he gave me a reading, and I cried, of course. And that was the last time.
For years, maybe.
It was the last time for like years. And then I had a breakup out of a 10-year relationship, moved back in with Dale, 2 queens again, like it was before, just in a different part of the borough of New York. And I got into watching YouTube and just looking at like my horoscopes and the readings, and that went on for like a year. Like, I still didn't get tarot cards. I was just looking at channels, Quiet as Revolution. Shout out to Amber Khan. Sarita Daily, Love and Light Tarot.
Oh, Sarita.
All those places.
Hey,
Leona
girl.
Luna, New York. Big ups to New York. Mama Jim Tarot. All those
We're New
readers,
Yorkers.
right.
So
All those readers. Mama Jim's from Atlanta,
all
by
that
the way.
Cancer energy, Aquarian
Yes,
Cancer energy
lots of
in New
Cancer
York.
moons, too. So, that's how it happened. And then Dale got some cards. He got another deck, a new deck.
Yes, I had been originally given a deck. And it was kind of obviously serendipitous the way that it all happened in college, and they were gifted from someone who really didn't even practice it, but it was kind of like they had a responsibility to it, and therefore it was passed on to me, and I felt that responsibility for a while there too. And there was a balance with me finally making peace with that and parting from that deck and from that energy that wasn't originally mine. But I separated from this journey for many reasons, because I was on my own journey and I wasn't able to be present in that way. I was in other forms in my personal relationships, but not in an expansive sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's very ironic, right now in this time, we're in the Ides of March right now, and it's 2018, and Jupiter has gone retrograde not that long ago, maybe about a week ago. And so, Jupiter, the first of the social planets, is kind of going back, and we're kind of going back to a place where I can kind of reassess some of those long-term goals and get back to you guys, which I'm really so happy to be able to do. Kind of share my knowledge that I know just through Tai Chi and palmistry and astrology, and what it has done for me and how it has helped me to find that balance of spirituality that I need in everything that I've been taught, and everything that I have learned through my experience, right? And just finding the balance of that, and always being open and realizing that, hey, there's so much that you don't know and that you have to allow in, and still, find the balance of protecting your energy, but being curious and moving forward and opening up new doors for yourself and not fearing the changes of that. And we all, as a generation, as we're going forward into Aquarius energy, are thinking about that type of stuff, right?
Yeah. So, Dale got his cards. He would read them.
Got some new cards.
And, he would throw cards down. And because I have been watching YouTube, I kind of had an idea what the cards meant. But even before the cards, like when I was younger, I would have these experiences, we can get into that in another video.
Mm-hmm.
But, once I got older...
What kind of experiences, though, Kendrick? Just
okay,
in general.
I'll give you one experience that was like very... that'll be the boldest one for you guys to know. I was probably about 11. I might have been in like the 4th grade. 10, possibly. And I was sleeping. I shared a room because, my mother was a single mother with both of my sisters. And, they had bunk beds and I had my single bed. So I'm sleeping in my single bed and I wake up in the middle of the night, but I don't get out of my bed. I'm still in my bed. And then I see, like, a face, like, looking at me. And there was literally, like, candlelight. Like, if I took the candle that's on this table and put it up to my face, took off my hat, of course, and I just looked at you in the dark, that's literally what I saw. But it was a younger face. It was a softer face. It was a child, basically. It seemed like they recognized me. They were like looking. Face. It was an innocent face, so I wasn't scared or anything like that. So there's one.
So it was basically about the awareness of like the spiritual, or the awareness that maybe something spiritual was there, whether you couldn't define what that was.
Right, I couldn't define what it was for myself. So, I just kind of like actually kept it to myself for years. And I was always very sensitive around, just like places that I knew like, maybe someone had passed in or something like that. I always had a heightened sense of, like, I'm a Cancer moon with Pluto conjunct my ascendant and my sun, so it's like those types of things really speak to me in a way that I can't like even control or stop. So that said, cut to 2015. It was my Saturn return, by the way. I moved out from the apartment with Dale because, I met this guy that I'm still with. And it was around that time that I decided, go get some cards. I got the cards. They were the Rider-Waite deck. But just to punctuate it, I kind of skipped over a portion. During the Saturn return, I went to the grocery store and I was coming home, but I decided to go a different way. It had snowed outside. I looked down on the ground. There were 2 tarot cards sticking up out of the snow. It was the Magician and the King of Hearts, which is the King of Cups. It was from the Enchanted Tarot deck by Amy Zerner. I actually don't have that deck, but I'm thinking about getting it. Anyway, I got the cards. I started working on it. I already had some knowledge. I had someone there to support me and sort of like guide me as, once I started the journey. And it was like every day that I practiced it. So, it kind of got to the point where here we are.
Like every day, like you can definitely tell. I mean, he's a Libra. He's a Libra rising and his sun is also in Libra. So there's always a lot of fairness in relationships and weighing and information in general. Just information. So even before he left the apartment and he found those cards, I was still in a place where I wasn't using my gift in that way. I was on an interpersonal level because I'm an empath, but I was really trying to block a lot of things out. Right. I had just kind of gotten to that place with certain things in my life. And ironically, here comes the Libra of justice trying to come in, and these things were happening to him, and I had knowledge of the things. Right. So that just kind of started to stir up information. And he would literally, like, every morning have some YouTube playing in his room about something with the tarot or some type of information. So he was constantly taking things in. That's why he's spitting all these names and giving shout outs to all these people, because he really is tapped into that. Very much so as an air sign, And then with the Leo in me and the awareness just naturally being there from my own personal journey, through all of the experiences that I've had with the readings here in person with some readers in New York, in New Orleans, just all of that and my own personal journey, as I said before, it just tied in together. And he actually... Once I made a transition of cleansing myself of the original deck that I had, which was a Moroccan Fez, kind of like a right-away Moroccan Fez deck. It was very traditional, very old school, and there was just a lot of energy associated with it that wasn't really me. Eventually, certain courses of my life went along, and everything, and I pretty much mean everything, was discarded that was not only associated with that energy, but just associated with me in general. There was a whole transcendence, like a whole just death card, new beginning kind of thing that happened. And slowly through that, other transformations took place, and I began to focus on the studies again. And I just started right away with the Radiant Tarot, which is like a right-away classic deck that I already knew a lot about. And I just introduced myself into that. And now I have about 4 different decks that, not to say that anyone who's into this shit, have a lot of different decks. You definitely want to just start with one thing and one energy and just kind of focus on that. And then when you become a little bit more experienced, for me, it's a lot about returning to energies. So I'm feeling a little bit more wiser now in my 30s than when I was doing this before in my 20s. You know what I mean? And it's coming from a much deeper place and a much more experienced person. So now when I use my certain different tarot decks, they're for different reasons, of course. Like the Radiant deck is going to be a classic overall. It's perfect, classic overall. Or the Psychic Tarot as well, because in the Psychic Tarot, they give you chakra as well, which is a lot of information you can get from the knowledge of if something is being blocked or a certain chakra needs a certain amount of attention. They're just a very interesting 65 card tarot deck. Also, I like to use the Goddess Tarot The women are exalted in the Goddess Tarot. I was raised by women. There's a lot of Venus in my chart. I have Venus in Leo as well as the Sun being there, with a Cancer moon and Mars and Saturn and Scorpio. Lots of feminine power there, right? So definitely the honoring of that is in the Goddess Tarot. And it's a lot about emotions. So a lot of times if I'm doing a love reading or something like that, I'll definitely pull from that or utilize that. And they're based off of the Rider-Waite as well as far as the structure. Then there's the Vera Sibilia deck, which is usually more of a clarification deck for me. And I like to do that one more so in person with people. It's a simple double card, 4-card spread a lot of the times from the classic tarot. And that's a more earthly deck. So it's definitely got a lot of energy and power to it. And it's very old school. A lot of study goes into that. And then that's it, right? All 4. What did I say? The Goddess, the Psychic, the Vera Sibilia, and the Radiant. Yeah. Okay. So those are the ones that I utilize normally.
Yeah. I have a Rider-Waite deck, which is the first deck that I got. You know, the second deck that I got was the Archangel Power Tarot deck by Doreen Virtue. And then the third one I got was the Morgan Greer that I love. And the fourth deck that I have is the Wild Unknown. And that is a Kim Kranz deck. So those are the ones that I use.
Yeah. So if you follow along with us, you'll get to experience a lot of those different things, you know. We do a lot of like double readings together. I mean, our energy, we have a lot of natal chart placements that are the same. So we can start there as far as what you're getting with the twinsiisms and the balances of just even aesthetic and voice and everything. It's all very cosmic. Things do happen for a reason. I never knew Kendrick before we met. We met at Pride in 2007. Which was just so serendipitous.
Something then.
I didn't know him. We had mutual friends. We literally met on the street, which is not something that's normally like me, or really you with a lot of Cancer moons, because water signs are already so empathic. So we're gonna be kind of a little bit cautious. But air, the sun is gonna, and his air is gonna flow with things. And then the fire in me, I want to be outdoors. The Leo in me, I want to have adventures. So, you know, that was being highlighted during that summer period, and we were able to connect in a meaningful way, which later led to you staying with one of the friends that I knew in the area I was staying in Brooklyn, then us hanging out together,
so crazy,
all of that, and then we, you know, eventually just started hanging out on our own together and building a friendship from there. And later on, years later, here we have such a meaningful friendship. We've lived together many different times in New York, different boroughs. We've worked together, different establishments. Just like we have very similar placements as far as us have Mercury and Virgo. Both of us have Moon and Cancer placement. We both have Saturn and Scorpio, and we both have Pluto and Libra.
And Venus in Leo.
And Venus in Leo. So
and
those are
Uranus in Sag?
My Uranus is in Capricorn.
Okay. My Jupiter and Uranus are conjunct at 6 degrees of Sag, and my Neptune is in Sag as well. So we share Neptune.
My Neptune is in Sagittarius as well, right? Which, you know, we want to give more, right? Sagittarius has got the goals and is generous and the fire 0 to 60, but the endurance to keep going in it. And Neptune is going to give more of its share. It's a little bit more of like, you know, without the ego being there in Uranus. It's like, yeah, go ahead and have the bigger piece. It's okay.
Neptune and Sag is actually it's an interesting placement because it's like, you know, Neptune
planet of illusions
Pisces,
with philosophy.
Jupiter is also a ruler of Pisces, and Jupiter is a ruler of Sagittarius. So when you put Neptune in Sagittarius, it's still benefic, but it's like benefic in ways that you kind of like won't really understand.
Well, those planets are big planets too, so. And yeah, a little bit slower moving.
Right. So you will learn to understand that placement for yourself, whatever, with whatever circumstances you may have in your life. But it's gonna come with some time.
Yeah.
Saturn really creeps in everywhere. I felt like I was dealing with Saturn from the whole time it was in Libra, and even before that when it was in Virgo, because I have Virgo placements, all the way through to it being in Sagittarius. And now it's in Capricorn with Pluto, and Pluto is a natal chart ruler for me, so I'm still getting it. Okay.
For people who have a strong Saturn placement and they study Saturn, then you know what that's all about. But yeah, so that's just in general what we're about.
Yeah. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook.
On IG, we do daily stuff. I'll post a lot of daily stuff, and we also do a weekly astro. It's IG video, so you're getting usually that quick 1-minute video. And the energy is very fresh for that week. We'll do it weekly, all of them. We try to sit down and just have a moment where we can spend some time with each of the signs. And then you can just go on and you have that for the week to refer to as far as a little bit of guidance in your sign and your sun and awareness. Also, if you know your rising and your moon placement, go on into the video and you can probably watch those and see if you can get something from that as well, right?
Yeah. You might see us going to some events. You might see some snippets out of things that we may do together. We do many things together. We like to post things about crystals and things like that. Del writes. Poetry.
I'm a full-out artist.
So there's
a lot of
spiritual. You know what I mean? So that is included.
Right. Well, if you're an artist or artists and you respect the art, you already know how deep that journey and how far that rabbit hole can really go down into, and what really it means to be an artist, the sacrifice of that, and why we do need the support of people who are in an earthbound, practical way, because art is a lot of water and air and not as much tangible in that way. We're manifesting things that become more tangible, or legacies that become written out, right? But in general, having the like-mindedness, right? And also being pioneers and stuff is tough, right? Because it's not comfortable. People fear change and the unknown, and the rigidity that comes with that. As far as we've always done it this way, which is one of the scariest phrases you could ever hear, right? In general, so just being open to moving forward and just learning new things.
We look forward to seeing where this goes.
Yeah.
With you guys.
Stay tuned. We'll be doing different readings for, every sign, for your monthly readings as well, or if we have time, different weekly ones, or just something, maybe a full spread for the week in general, for the sun in Pisces. We're very busy as well, but the bigger that this picks up, the more time and energy we can put into it for you guys as well. I'd love to see where it goes. Like we said, we do full-out art. I paint as well. I have a degree in contemporary dance, so I dance. I choreograph. I used to model. I still dabble. I still love to express in those realms. My grandfather used to design clothes at one point in time, and he was a carpenter, and, my aunt worked for Vogue Studios. So fashion was just a large part of the bane of my interest in certain ways, which I didn't even realize as much until I got older. So the appreciation of that, and just creating beauty from the inside out.
I've transformed as an artist many times, so for me, art is my life. I could not see my life without it, and it's like the fabric of my life. It's what my life is made of, right? Because You know, I was a musician. I still am a musician. I played the clarinet. Saxophone. Then, you know, I kind of like...
I was in the choir.
Very deep into it. I mean, it's like practicing for hours a day. I was actually going to audition for Juilliard for music, but then I started dancing, and so I went for dance instead, somehow. Thank you. And,
You're supposed to be a dancer.
Right, and I cook. I like to consider myself a baby chef because I haven't gotten the full out, you know, credentials of being a chef. But, you know,
he cooks,
will
y'all.
sling
I mean,
sword.
Like, I'm talking about some crazy stuff. Like, you know, he'll just be like, I come in, he's like, I'm experimenting with this new dessert with raspberry puree that I grind down with the cinnamon glaze, blah, 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 over this vanilla bean ice cream that I made from scratch and a graham cracker crust.
Right.
And then he'll whip it out and drizzle it in front of you. I mean, it's like crazy stuff. It's not like just like, I want you to enjoy this meal.
Eggs.
Like, it's just
Ain't no
like I cook too,
eggs,
right? And as a Leo Cancer, I cook, and I cook for feeling sakes. Like, I want you to feel it, feel the love and the food, that type of thing. Mm-hmm. He's doing aesthetic stuff, like, you know, you want to sell it. So eventually, he may have, you know, some type of... You know, best chef. Stay tuned.
Right, stay tuned. You know what I mean? You never know.
The next phase of his...
Getting on that plane, flying out to make, you know...
It's crazy, really.
Meals for parties and things like that. You know, I'm a Libra rising, too. You know what I mean? So it's like... I don't want to be, like, hot. I want to be hot, like, in the kitchen. You know what I mean? Wiping sweat. I want to be in someone's beautiful, you know, chef kitchen, cooking for, like, their fabulous friends of 12, having them ooh and ah. That's what I want.
That's what's up. You know, we'll be making videos. Stay tuned with us.
Bye, you guys.
That's what we're about. Talk to you soon.